Hey there, Griever Gang. Welcome back to Griever Productions. It feels like a little while since I've been in the studio, and that's because, frankly, it has been at least doing this. Took a little bit of time off just to get my head around a new system that I want to put into place in order to ensure that I'm getting more frequent videos out and not leaving weird, awkward, pregnant pauses. With this one here, do forgive me if I seem a little unhinged. I have not slept, but I'm going through with my plan to get a bunch done today anyway. I have a lot of coffee, so I should be okay. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I may need to go for a nap. Thank you guys, first of all, to all of those who have been using my Google form to make their suggestions for the songs that they'd like me to look at. It is really helping me keep everything together, and it's really good at telling me, hey, this link has been sent multiple times, so maybe prioritize this, and it's pretty good. Now, something that has been coming up a lot in that list are these first take videos, and now, given the name First Take, I assumed that it was a show in which an artist goes in and performs whatever they're going to do in the first take. And in my head, I went, look, if that's not the premise, it should be. That'd be very interesting. And it turns out that is exactly what it is. Again, the artists go in, do it in their first take, and you get what you get. And I love that concept because it really strips back everything and makes the artist kind of show exactly what they can do without any interference. So, of course, a lot of people have been asking for me to do more Stray Kids, so I'm going to start with Stray Kids. They've got one here, so I thought may as well. Before we begin, please do leave a like on the video. It really does help. If you have not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did so. Quick thank you to our Patreon members listed here. If you would like to get on this list, there is a link to the Patreon in the description below, and there's more ways that you can help support us at the end. So without any further ado, let's have a listen to Stray Kids and their first take video. I assume the song is called Hollow. That's what's written here, so...
Yeah! Wow! Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
久しぶり。
お久しぶりです。
久しぶりです。
Alright, I actually really appreciate what they're doing here. For those who haven't seen my videos before, I do like to pause and kind of go through everything that I'm seeing. So first off, you see here these pop filters. I don't like these pop filters that much. They're kind of like metal fly screen material. I personally don't like them too much for the sole reason that they are metal, and sometimes if you are singing at a certain frequency, it will actually resonate and you will hear them in the microphone. But having said this, that's if you get cheaper ones that they don't really care about them. The more expensive ones, they do tend to look at that sort of thing. But in order to avoid that, I usually go with the cloth ones. I mean, the one on my microphone currently is literally just that. Works the same way, and it's not all up in your face. But hearing them do this, and hearing them kind of almost vocally stim, they're getting an idea as to where their voices are in the mix. Mind you, some of them were singing without their headphones on, so they wouldn't be able to hear. And that comes with being a musician. Like, have you ever put a guitar into a guitarist's hands and told them not to play? Ooh, it doesn't last very long.
はい、高田です。皆さん。
お久しぶりです。
はい。OK。ご挨拶。はい。
はい。
はい。せーの。
それは
僕たちは
ストレイキッズです。
はい、皆さん、ストレイキッズのバンちゃんです。
はい、リーノで
Let me
す。
check the volume.
皆
It
さん、
seems
ストレイキッズ
low.
のチャンビンです。
Okay.
エンジンです。
はい、ストレイキッズのハンです。
はい、ストレイキッズのフェリックスです。
はい、スミンです。
セコアエンです。
Okay, I assume that was a bit of like a sound check for the sound engineers.
準備いいですか？
はい、
OK。
Just to have them each talking.
お願いします。
Without understanding the language, that's what my assumption would be. Wait. Okay. In my mind, the necklace this gentleman is wearing could have been two different things. It could have been the Griever symbol from Final Fantasy VIII, which holds a very, very dear place in my heart, or an Eden star from from Lord of the Rings. And it is neither, but on first glance, it could have been either. There we go, there's the volume. Okay. Okay. First of all right, I did look a little bit concerned, and I was a little bit concerned because of the volume of the music as opposed to how loud their speaking voices were in the microphone prior. And naturally, when you do sing, you do tend to put a little bit more volume on it, especially if you've got the proper projection, the proper core pressure, and all that sort of thing. However, the volume did sound significantly different to me, especially when the first gentleman started singing. So here's a big thing, right? And it is a bit of a pet peeve for me when I've had many a conversation with many a different singing teacher, and they've said, oh, usually what we'll do is we'll increase the volume of the track a little bit to get more out of them. Don't do that. Do not do that. If they can't hear themselves, there's a problem. You don't want them pushing to beyond a certain limit. It's usually good when you're singing, unless you're doing something emotive, to cap it out about 80% of volume. Because it can get to a point where where basically fatigue sets in much quicker if you're going all out constantly all of the time. So I was a little bit concerned about that. However, now that this gentleman started, it does feel like the levels of the mics have come up a little bit. So maybe it's a non-issue, but it's something to look out for those who are. I know that quite a number of people that watch this channel are in their own journeys and like our own vocal journeys. And please, if your singing teacher ever does something like that, just say you're not comfortable with it and see what they say. And if they fight you back on it, it's not great. It's not great for the longevity of the voice. You don't want to go into a hour session and come out just sounding like this because your voice is gone. You don't want that. The track is still up a little too high, I think. Ooh, that was intriguing thing here. Okay. First things first, the first thing that I want to bring up. I'm hearing that the track is a little bit too loud, and I personally would like to just have it come down the tiniest little bit, because the point of this, especially in a show like this, that it is the first take, the vocals are the most important thing, right? And what we want is to hear the vocal. And don't get me wrong, we can hear it. It's just a tiny bit too much for my tastes. What I am enjoying, though, and it comes with, it comes with a mastery of knowing your own voice and knowing its limitations, is none of them have taken the bait of that. So it may just be a case of maybe the mix for us it's too high. There could be a whole heap of things happening here. But it's good to hear that none of them are really taking the bait of this. Now, this gentleman here, also, having one ear off, this is another really interesting thing. It's another thing that I've had singers ask me why this is normal, and I've actually said to try it. Now, the reason is, what we're hearing, right? If we've got headphones on, and I'm recording the song, I'm just hearing the pure sound of track and myself and whatever effects are on my voice, that sort of thing. If you take one off, you're hearing half of the music and you're hearing more of yourself because you're hearing what you're singing coming through here. It does help you to be able to pitch. It does help you to be able to hear what you're singing, and it's almost the equivalent of, in the 90s there's a lot of that kind of imagery of the big diva vocals holding their ear like this and kind of just like and just singing like that, you know what I mean? And a large part of that is because if you block your ear, you hear yourself better, because what we hear when we speak is actually the vibration in our heads of our own voice, as opposed to the sound coming back to us. And that's why if you record yourself speaking, when you listen to it back, it sounds nothing like you to your ear. That is what everybody else is hearing. But I wanted to stop here specifically because this run is very, very good.
I can't take it no more. 全て抱きしめ走ってもバイクはピンハロー。どんな場所に来ても孤独になるわ。
Okay, I went into mixed voice there, but the way he went in from that chest voice into the falsetto there, it was a really good jump. It was really masterfully done. And also something to do with the phrasing as well. Because again, I don't understand the language that they are singing in, but you can hear that the way the kind of consonants work together in the phrasing of that, it did not sound like an easy section to sing. And I'm sure it would be easier understanding and knowing the language that they are singing in and having practiced that. But to my Western ear, the phrasing in that sounded very, very difficult. But very, very good job. And same with that. Sorry, back to this gentleman here. This one. There's something so nice about that section.
最近の規模なシャープよりフレットこだわり気づいたキャリアのステックホロフェイムまだ先遠くてシャイニースターその裏はオリンブレッククラッシュよりマイネスにむくめが無駄く理解していないか気が抜けてるデスプテーが辛くて
Wow, they all have such unique tones. And also, just to point out, this gentleman, the tone that this gentleman has is incredibly unique as well, and I'm instantly drawn to it. And I think it's just that incredibly warm tone. It's almost like a warm hug. It's very interesting.
I can't take it no more 全て抱きしめ走ってもワクワクハローどんな場所にいても孤独になる
They're all very good at that swap. Every single person that has done that swap between chest voice and head voice in this song have done a masterful job. Props, honestly.
光ない夜名前もない心は空をさまよう全て抱きしめ走っても I do I feel hello どんな場所にいても孤独になる
Nice. Every single person that's done it. That's brilliant.
いいね。
いいですね。緊張しました。
はい。
緊張しました
ハローでした
いつも緊張しました
皆さん楽しん
오랜만에
で
또
くださ
이렇게
い。
나왔는데 아무래도 신곡이다 보니까
맞아요
그쵸.
긴장을 한 것 같은데 여러분 너무 잘했어요
그러니까요
예
사나 너도 잘했다.
고맙다
よしよし。
ありがとうございます
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 ありがとうございますリノ잘했어
That's cool. All right, let's go to final thoughts. Okay, that was a lot of fun to listen to. They did a very, very good job with that. Vocally, all of them are absolutely stunning. The gentleman with the blonde hair, there's a comparison I kind of have for a voice like that, and it's almost like the Disney villain that you want to win. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of, like, warm tone. You could see it coming out of a villain. That almost, dare I say, almost seductive type tone that really entices you and wants you to kind of, basically you want to know more and you want to hear more of that. And again, each and every one of them that did that change between chest voice and head voice did such a phenomenal job of it. I've mentioned before in a lot of different videos, what we try to do when we sing is we try to remove almost what I like to call a gear change or a gear shift when it comes to that swap. If you are just kind of starting out and swapping between chest voice and head voice, it's good to always practice that and try to make it seem as uniform as possible, because you don't particularly want to be in a chest voice and have it have like one tone and then you go into falsetto and it sounds completely different. You want people to understand that it's your voice. You want that uniqueness of your own voice. And you don't want people going, hang on, especially in the case of a group scenario like this, right? Where you don't want to kind of be thinking, did somebody else jump in for that little section there? It's great that you can hear whoever starts that line finishes that line. It's really well done. I'm definitely going to have a look at more of these first take videos because honestly, that was very cool. The only thing that I would say on as a thing for first take is I would love in a group scenario like that, and this is just personal preference, they've done the best that they probably can in terms of for general audience, but for me as a vocal coach listening to this and trying to pull it apart, I would love to have the voices panned more so that you can kind of go, oh, that voice is coming at me from this direction, especially if I've got headphones on. That voice is coming from me to me in that direction. All right, that must be this gentleman here. That would be nice so that I could pick it apart. But again, that's absolutely a personal thing and would help what I do, but would not necessarily be the best for, you know, everyday listening or for the general sort of fan or viewer. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. The song was great. All of their vocal performances were great. Doing that in one take definitely takes some prowess and definitely takes some solid knowledge on their part, and they did very, very well. But I suppose that's all I have for today. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe, all that sort of thing. In the description below is our Google form if you'd like to make a submission. And I guess we'll see you next time. All right, bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what we did here today, for as little as $3 Australian per month, you can join us over on Patreon and become one of our tiered members and join the wonderful list of people here. If you're into gaming, I also have a gaming channel that I have recently gotten back into, and also on this splash screen you might see something a little bit interesting. More news on that coming soon.